Yes, yes, yes. What's going on, people? Welcome back to another show, the European show. I've got my man Eve and I've got Jeff in the building. We're going to be talking a lot. Lots has happened in the football world. New coaches getting fired. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the Ballon d'Or, the biggest topic of this week. Messi still in the Ballon d'Or, but everyone has their opinion on it. We're going to get to that. So hopefully everyone's doing well. Eve, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Excited to do this show.
Yeah. And Jeff, yourself?
I'm living the dream, man. The Real Madrid dream. That's all I'll say from that.
Well, you guys got a big game today, so I'm sure you're probably looking forward to that.
Yesterday, it was yesterday.
Was it
Well,
yesterday?
yesterday,
Yeah, they
yeah,
won
they won
2-0.
it.
Oh, geez, what
They
did I
they
think? Okay, what did I think that was today?
they
Oh, geez,
destroyed.
okay.
They
All
destroyed.
right.
They're leading by 10
So
points.
that's why you've been buzzing my phone saying that you need a show to kind of vent. So we're definitely going to get right to it. Obviously, we don't have that much time, so we're going to keep everything short and sweet. And yeah, let's go, man. So obviously, the biggest talking point of this week was the Ballon d'Or. Messi wins it for the seventh time in his career. Obviously, he's had an amazing career, but this is the one Ballon d'Or that people kind of questioned the motive behind it. So obviously, I talked about it midweek with Charles and Eze, both United and Chelsea fans, and they gave their opinion on it. So I want to hear your opinions, especially people, La Liga fans, Real Madrid and Barcelona fans. So I want to hear your take on it. So let's get started, guys. So who wants to go first?
I guess I can go first,
Who
being
wants
an
to go with the slaughter?
ex Barcelona
To
fan.
be honest, I don't think Eves and I disagree on this. But I want Eves to start since he's the
Yeah,
Barcelona
I'm the Barca
fan.
fan. But listen, he carried Barcelona. I can't say anything. 2021, he carried them until he left. Right. Argentina was finally something he won with them. He should have won in 2014, I believe, in the World Cup. I mean, that should have been his right there, but it didn't happen. Right, Germany topped them, and that was it. Um, I have to say, watching Leon, I can't say Messi deserved this one. I honestly believe that Lewandowski should have gotten it. If it wasn't for this year, it definitely he needed it for last year. I mean, there was no reason for Messi to steal it. Messi got it, I believe, because of Argentina and what he did with Barcelona and how bad Barcelona are becoming. But I think that I don't know. Some people say he got it because, oh, see, without him, Barcelona are crumbling. I think it was more an internal thing as well with Barcelona, which it wasn't just Messi, it's just a series of bad management and bad decisions. And then Argentina winning it, yeah, he was the best player, most passes, etc. But it's a team game. So if I look at Lewandowski at his age, producing as a striker, I think this year was a bit stolen. Messi is by far the uncontested best player of all time, in my view. But this seventh was a bit too pushing it.
All right, where to start? 100% agree. 100% agree. Messi didn't deserve it this year. I'll leave the past years alone. And I'm also going to leave that little comment that he's the undisputed best player of all time. I think it's disputed. I think he is the best player. For me, Ronaldo is better. But we're not here to argue about that. Um, I did like what he did though by sort of reaching a hand out to the Ballon d'Or committee to say 2020 should not be thrown out. You got to give that to Lewandowski. Um, but I think Lewandowski was snubbed. And I think I don't think I don't think Messi did enough. Benzema carried Real Madrid last year. Nobody's saying anything about him. He came fourth in it. So why is Messi going further? He didn't score in the semifinals or the finals of the Copa, right? They won because of Martinez. Martinez put himself on the map, man. That goalkeeper was just unreal. But not only that, there were some young gentlemen, Raul de Paul Thomas, who were doing some great things for Argentina. I don't think Messi deserved it. Again, I think it's just a matter of um, there's two greatest footballers who are still doing ridiculous things. So it's hard to now remove them from the conversation. Somehow Ronaldo was removed from the conversation, but I blame that more on the exploits of Juventus and less on him. Because let's be fair, Juventus and Barcelona were knocked out at the same stage last season, UCL, right? Granted, Portugal didn't do as well in Europe as Messi did in CONMEBOL, but we had what, three CONMEBOLs in the last 4 years, right? Like we had a Centurion one, then we had the two on either end of the Centurion. So I think it's a little bit, it's just unfair to discount the quality that he had on his Argentina team, and discount the how ineffective he was in UCL. I mean, Benzema was holding this team together, and we went further. You know, we were beat by the champions Chelsea, right? And that wasn't because Benzema wasn't doing well. It was because Zidane was, you know, I don't know what he was doing, but Zidane was not playing football. So yeah, ultimately, I think the Ballon d'Or has some big question marks on it, and maybe it needs to be changed. I don't think it should be tied to, you know, your team success. I think it should strictly be tied to individual success, because everyone was talking about Jorginho being in the talks. Why? Jorginho didn't do anything for Chelsea. I mean, Conte was the best midfielder for Chelsea all last year. Why? Because Italy won? Let's be very real. Jorginho did not have as much say, except for scoring some basic hop-step penalties. So, you know, that's where I land on this whole Ballon d'Or thing. I think it needs a slight tweaking in terms of how we think about the year in which people win it.
Yeah, I know it's so funny that you mentioned Jorginho, because I spoke with Eze. He was on the show, and he was adamant that Jorginho deserved it, and Charles didn't agree with it. But it's funny because I in the group chat I mentioned Jorginho, because if we're judging Messi based on the Copa America, yes, I know he was one of the top goal scorers in La Liga. You know, he did a lot for Barcelona last season. But just looking at his overall performance, even with Barcelona, he hasn't been up to his very best. We could say maybe that's down to age, maybe down to personnel at Barcelona. But overall, I don't think his performance has been that out of this world this calendar year to say that he deserved it. If we're going based on the Copa America, then I think Jorginho should have a massive claim on that award, because what other player, maybe Emerson, maybe, but what other player won both the Champions League and the Euros in the same, pretty much in the same season? And he was, as much as you might not like Jorginho, he was a main feature on both teams. So if we're going based on the team contribution, I think Jorginho should have won it. But if we're looking at individuals, I think individually there's been other players. Like we said, Lewandowski should have won it last year during COVID, which I think it was BS that they said because of COVID, everything was virtual. Games were being played, you know, behind closed doors. You know, everything that we watched was virtual. So you're trying to tell me that a whole UEFA or the Ballon d'Or community could not organize a virtual event to, you know what I mean, to hold such a big you know, award in the world of football. So it was kind of bizarre.
I mean, governments were meeting virtually. Why can't the Ballon d'Or award be done virtually? 100% agree with you, Josh.
Yeah, so that's where it is. But if we're doing individually, then I think Lewandowski could had a stake in that. I think Benzema, what he's done for Real Madrid, the past how many seasons now, he's been consistent. What he did for France, even just coming back, you know, he already made a massive impact. And then you could look at Mo Salah. Look how Mo Salah has been one of the most consistent players in the EPL in how many seasons now?
In the calendar year, though, Josh? In the calendar year?
If we're talking about goals, right? If we're talking about his performance for the team, and also just goals too, like
But he was very inconsistent last year.
Arguably, he's fought to be top goal scorer in the league.
I agree with you, Josh.
Arguably. So
I'll agree with
you're a Man United fan. You're trying to be fair to everybody, but you got to be real. Salah.
No. It's not about that. I rate Salah. I rate Salah, man. I'm not one of those guys.
Yes, in your fantasy.
Hey, I had Bruno in my fantasy last season. I did not rate him whatsoever. So.
That's fair. So
I will say that it's not the first time that we've questioned a Ballon d'Or, right? It's not the
100%.
first time, and I think Ribéry felt that he was robbed back then.
It was not. Stop
And
it.
I personally believe he wasn't. I don't think Benzema was robbed. I think
I don't
his
think he was robbed either.
exterior issues also play the role. I think, I don't know about you guys, but at my work at Meta, I not only have to perform at my work, but I also have to do community service. So I have to do something for the community. And I think that's not taken into account in the Ballon d'Or. I think the Heisman Trophy in the NFL is they have to do something. I think that college, something has to be done. I think that if you're going to just solely measure strikers and goals, yeah, it's logical. Every time someone's going to win, it's going to be a striker or a cam or a right winger or a left winger. But what about goalkeepers? I mean, Mendy was robbed,
Defenders.
in my view. Defenders. I mean, yeah, okay, Cannavaro won 1 year because, again, he lifted the team in terms of spirits, but
Yeah.
that wasn't deserved. I felt that, like, for example, Bocchini and Bonucci, and Cellini, all those guys, they had such a dynamic duo for the Euro that maybe they should have come into play. And there are so many things that we should have maybe, as a Ballon d'Or fan, think about than just strikers all the time. I truly don't believe Messi deserved it this year. I think Lewandowski got robbed. I think what we should have seen is a duo for the first time, back-to-back wins from Lewandowski, which didn't happen since the Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi situation. I think Ronaldo is unfortunately where exactly he is. He was low.
Yeah.
Neymar as well, Mbappe as well. I think Mbappe, Neymar is just a wake-up call to show you that they're not in their prime, and we need to stop calling them top stars. Like, if Mbappe wants to get to that level, leave and go to Madrid. Just end it and move on. Messi not scoring Ligue 1 just shows you that not only was it the wrong time to move, but it was the wrong time to start a new project. And that's what it was. He should have just stayed, done something in the previous years, stopped asking so much money, and just stayed and consistent and been that legend. I think that Barcelona went through a rough time. They had to move on. They couldn't offer him salary. They couldn't even give him €1 if he wanted to play for free. In my view, it was a wrong move for Messi, and Cristiano Ronaldo moving to Juventus was also, in my view, a wrong move.
It was,
he shouldn't have left, and I think Papa Perez, kind of regrets it because I think they would have been back. Now, like I said, Ballon d'Or, in my view, needs a rehaul, just like UEFA. It's just a wrong award, in my view.
You make a very, very, a very unique suggestion, and I like it. They should consider what you're doing in the community as well, and I think that should have as much weight as what you do for your club and country. Josh, real quickly, man, I just want to call out Eze because I played with him on Wednesday, and on Wednesday he didn't say anything about this Jorginho stuff to me because he knows I would have had him pegged. I don't agree at all with
You gotta
that
confront him next week, man.
Think about it this way. I think about the Ballon d'Or in this way.
Yeah.
You are the most valuable player. When you think about that, it means if I were to pop you out, what would be the result of the team? If you removed Jorginho, he was injured. Are you telling me Chelsea would not be as strong as they were? That's ridiculous.
Oh, you see Mount have scored.
Thing to say.
Exactly.
They still would have won UCL. Yep. If you took Jorginho out of Italy, they still meant Locatelli, Chiesa. Those were the people that led Italy. If you took Jorginho out of Italy, Italy probably would have still had the same result, penalties in the final. Because I don't believe that Jorginho is instrumental to his team as Lewandowski was to Bayern Munich. You take Lewandowski out of Bayern Munich, man, they're not winning Bundesliga because you had Haaland at Dortmund doing crazy things, scoring hat tricks like he was just waking up to brush his teeth, right? And so I don't agree with that. Messi, if you were taking him out of Barcelona would have been just as bad. I don't think anything would have been different. If you take Benzema out of France, I think France would have been just as good or just as poor, depending on how you feel. So I think where Benzema landed was where he should have landed. Top 5, top 3 is where he should have landed. I think this was clearly Lewandowski's bar. Clearly, like he had it completely gone. But if you were to add in what you're doing in the community, someone like Rashford gets into the conversation.
Correct.
Right? Because what he did for not only country, but club, as in terms of his community work, man, all the racist chants and tweets and social media that was happening on to England when they knocked down the all the work all the groundwork he's been doing for the last couple of years. He helped with the way people's minds quickly stopped in England and said, wait, hold on, why are we acting this way to our fellow citizens? Literally, like I remember people going to that mural and putting things there. And so for me, I think that 100% agree with Ease on this one. 100%. They need to revamp the way Ballon d'Or, and it should include what you're doing in the community, because that is how you change the culture of soccer. That's how you impact the next generation. Not just scoring. Not everybody can be as consistent as Ronaldo
or
or
not
as
just
consistent as
spending,
Messi.
or not just spending on random things. And Neymar would be consistently that low.
Yeah,
Messi
Well,
does
Neymar.
nothing.
I do agree with you guys because isn't sportsmanship part of? I guess sportsmanship can be categorized in a different way, right? It's part of it's one of the criterias for winning the Ballon d'Or. But for me, I get the community aspect, but at the same time, but that's what, like, you look at someone like Marcus Rashford, like you said, right? I feel now he's being looked at as a much footballer than he actually is because of what he's done in the UK, feeding the kids and things like that. So I think it should be part of the decision making, but I don't want that to be like the main focal point of it
But
because
why
it's not
not?
fair.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Because
Why?
sport is
What?
different. Sport is about the skills, about what you
But
can do
it's
on the
about
pitch for your team,
those
and
guys. Those guys are earning sometimes 37 million a year. They're as much as more than CEOs, and CEOs have to manage 800, if not 10,000 people, and they have to not only think about racism, they have to think about equality, they have to think about that. If I look at PSG, not one thing from that team does about equality and services. Nothing. It's just buying the best, plug and play, paying them the most. Messi, coming from Argentina, a country that's unfortunately poor,
Mhm.
he should be doing more, and that should be weighed. Yes, he won an
yeah,
award, and he is the best player of the Argentina team. He didn't
Yep.
score at the end, and I'll give him that. He was the best, but does it deserve a Ballon d'Or? Not too sure. Lewandowski, terrible for his country, but he's the main guy. Without him, they would be even worse. And then
Oh man.
if you look at Bayern, he was injured during two key games, and this is where they tanked. They lost because he wasn't there.
Yep.
Even during PSG, I believe. I can't remember which team they were playing, but they tanked badly because they were missing there. To me, that shows that not only is he doing something on the pitch, but off the pitch. And Lewandowski, I don't know if you follow him on Instagram and so forth, but I do, and I can tell you he does a lot of things for kids
Yep.
in Poland and stuff like that. For me,
Yep.
that's the added attribute. Benzema in the top four, yeah, it's great based on skills. But if I look at his cases outside, his whole rape case and all that stuff, and on top of that the sexual assaults and the, oh god, good lord, all those cases, the minors, and now the recent one where he's part of a scandal, I would put that at the bottom 10 because of that factor. And I think that should force the players to not only be a role model for kids, but to also help your teammate. If there's a racist chant, stop the game, help your teammate. Don't just sit there. You're earning 37 million. Whether you stop that game or not, you're going to make a bigger impact. For me, that pisses me off. And that personally, when I see the Heisman Trophy given to the best player, but also he has to do community service, and he's a college player, and he has to go to school, I'm like, okay, yeah, the
What?
Ballon d'Or is a
Go to
misstep.
school.
Yeah, go to school. Yeah, okay. I mean,
oh my
let's just
goodness.
say it's part of the criteria. But I think
Yeah, no, I
honestly,
hear
Josh,
you.
Yeah, you
Ballon
got to
d'Or
get a
going
C
from
average.
journalism, yeah, going from journalism to now going back to what it was. I think they need to rehaul it, and goalkeepers deserve it just as much as defender. It can't be strikers all the time.
That's a good point, because if these are journalists, it should be more. It should be more than just this on the pitch work. If you're a journalist,
Yeah,
it shouldn't. It should be about more than just on the pitch work. So that's why I think it should be a factor, whether it's scored as, let's say, 25 points out of the 100, whatever. I'm not saying it should be 50 or anything like that. Majority of it is what you do with your club and your country, right? But at the same time, it should be thought of, if I was to pull this person out of that team, right? It's like Spain. Spain won South Africa. There's not one person you could pull out of that team and still think that Spain would have crumbled and not have an opportunity, still not have the same capacity or potential to win the World Cup. No, Same thing with Germany that year. To your point, when Argentina that year when it was supposed to be Messi's year, Messi would have won the Ballon d'Or clean. He would have been cemented as the best of all time. Germany, not one person you could pull out of that squad and say, "Oh, that person, you move them and everything crumbles." No, and so I think if we're going to be considering, what if your country wins that year? If Messi, if Argentina wins the World Cup in 2022 and Messi's injured for it, is Messi still going to be in the talks, right? If Messi is injured for, let's say he plays for the knockouts, plays for the and only doesn't play in the knockouts, where do you draw the line in terms of your effect on your team winning? You need to consider, like the NBA, if I pull you out of this team, what happens? Do you crumble? Do you fall apart, or do you still reach the same heights? And you can realistically do that. But anyways, I don't want to keep talking.
But and I do, yeah. That's what you guys are saying. I think basketball is a little different. I think basketball is one of those sports where one man could, because you look at the classic story.
Not anymore though.
Because I even have family, that's from Cleveland, whereby when LeBron's in town, all of a sudden everyone's a basketball fan. Everyone goes to the games. The moment he trades out to a different city, everybody's no longer, no one's going to the Cavs games. I think basketball is one of those sports whereby one person can actually make a difference, like that impact, versus in football. If you have a good enough team, like you were saying, like the Spanish team from 2008, that's different. That's different, right? It doesn't matter who you bring in. We're just top quality players.
Yeah.
So, but I do get the community award. I do get the community award, but I just don't want it to become this whole thing whereby, if you spend 80% of your time doing community work, but you're just average on the pitch, you win
I'm
the
not
award.
saying I'm not saying you're going to win the award. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. I'm saying there should be a separate award that says, "Hey, you're recognized for incredible community service." But I'm saying a top player who spends maybe 10% of his time doing things instead of going on fancy holidays and doing Nike shots and so forth, maybe he spends a little more time doing something. He actually dedicates his money to building new hospitals, something that we can actually see that he's done something besides just soaking up the money. That, would go a mile for me to say, yep, this year it's Messi. Nope, this year it's Lewandowski. Nope, this year it's Cristiano Ronaldo. That's my view.
Okay, yeah, and that's fair, right? And I think, like you said, I think we're all in agreement that the criteria needs to change because it's kind of conflicting, right? Is it based on individual abilities, community service, or is it just based on if your team wins something? Because I think I mentioned it. The moment Messi won the Copa America, the commentators in the game were already saying, "Oh yeah, he's got to win the Ballon d'Or." And I'm like, calm down, like Messi just because he had a few teardrops doesn't mean that.
That's because Argentina is so proud of actually winning something in I don't know how many decades. But that for me that doesn't change. France won the World Cup in 2018. Do I want to give the Ballon d'Or to every single player on that pitch? No.
Yeah, and Mbappe wasn't even in the conversations at that year.
But that is your job, my friend. Yeah. That is your job. You are playing for your country, so that is your job to win something. I'm not going to give you a Ballon d'Or for that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just moving on to the next topic, guys. So obviously, like I talked about, this is a period that we've seen coaches being fired, coaches being sacked, and new coaches coming in. And like I said to Eve a while ago, I'm not the biggest fan of ex players coming in. We've seen it time and time again. Obviously, we saw it with Zidane, it worked. Guardiola, it's worked. But then, we've seen it with the other, the likes of your Artetas, your Ole's, your Frank Lampards of this world, where it hasn't quite worked yet. Pirlo as well, at Juve, you could say he won some trophies, but it didn't quite work. Xavi has had a couple of games and under his belt.
Just on the bench.
Well, here's my view on old players coming in. Old players, in my view, have the upper hand because they know the ins and outs of the clubs. What they don't know is the finances. They haven't learned that. They don't know the management. They don't know how to manage the players as much as potentially other coaches because they have no relation whatsoever. I think strong coaches like Klopp and Ancelotti and so forth, they've been players. They understand it, but they went through a certain step to be
Yeah.
at where they are. And I think some of these players that come in right away at your club you used to manage, I think it's a bit unfair because there are other coaches that have been learning the sport, trying to get in the sport, and they're just completely cast away because, oh, this guy has 500 caps. The difference in, I know you put Xavi. If I look at Zidane, because Zidane, I was such a fan of Zidane. I'm his number one fan when I was a kid, but he chose Real Madrid and betrayed me. And what it
Well, you
was,
betrayed him, right?
he betrayed me a long time ago. But what it was for me was that he deserved it because he rose through the ranks. He didn't just come in. He did C, then B, and so forth, and finally got it. He won 3 Champions League in a row. I don't know what coach has done that, and he fully deserves it. What I've always seen Zidane as is a competition coach, a knockout coach. I've never seen him as a seasoned coach because I'm not too sure he has that understanding of adaptation, of strategy and tactics. I think he's great at knockouts, motivating players, how to get the best out of them, but not on a long-term scale. And Coleman was just the wrong fit at the wrong time. If we were the best players, maybe it would have been better. But if I look at his track record and what he's done so many mistakes, and now he's made a bad rep for himself. But yeah, he got a crazy amount of money. If I look at the Man U situation, did he really have that bad of a track record? Everybody wanted him out, but he was still fighting. He was still in the top 5. So I can't say anything. Now I look at Xavi and I'm like, yeah, his first loss, it was bound to happen. We had no strikers. We lost Aguero. Like, the guy's going to retire. Our striker that we got from De Jong, from another Dutch guy that left, was a waste of time. Like, Xavi took the team in the midst of a growing season with no money, with no players except youth. You're bound to have losses. If he makes the top 3, he should be considered a god to even save this team, honestly. Is he going to be a great coach for us? I don't know. Time will tell. Guardiola was the same thing. What I don't like from Xavi is he came from an Arabic team. And that's vastly different from coming from Barcelona B, where Guardiola came from. That's what I don't like about some of these coaches. And I think for Man U, having Ragnick, it's like a Viking name. Honestly, I truly believe he's going to be a great coach. But will he adapt to the Prem? That's a different thing. He's coming on with some serious strong ideas from the German league, and he just monumentally failed in the Russian league. So we'll see.
Yeah, Josh, I think we need to qualify the players becoming coaches because majority of players become coaches. Tuchel, Ancelotti, all of them, Coleman, Guardiola, Enrique, right? Like, you can go through the list. They were all players once. The careers ended because of injuries or because of the levels. They couldn't stay at that level for too long. But to Eve's point, they came through the ranks. They studied. They listened. They were mentored by actual great coaches who spent their time dominating or doing well in a certain type of system. Now, and that's one thing Ole does have over Lampard. He had his time in a lower league. He had his time in lower divisions. It's like what's happening right now with Raul in Real Madrid. Everyone's like, oh, Raul's going to take over in the summer. All Madrid fans knew that was not going to happen because same thing with Zidane. Zidane didn't just come up, right? Zidane was Castilla, and then Ancelotti said, "I want Zidane as my assistant coach." That La Decima year, I want him as my assistant coach. And then what happened? Then Zidane was brought on after he got his coaching license, right? There's levels to this, and we can't just jump into it. But I think Xavi, it's too hard to start on Xavi. I mean, like you said, the teams he was coaching, sure, they went, undefeated, or they went like in a ridiculous streak, but it's a completely different country system. Like everything is different. No way you're going to compare it to what the pressure of La Liga has on you. And that's another thing. I think first of all, Valverde, when they got rid of Valverde, that was when Barcelona was crashing, because he had the opportunity to allow Barcelona to go through the evolution and actually slowly bring in players and evolve and get to the next generation. Same thing when Ronaldo left, we had to rebuild, and that's what we've been doing, and we did it quickly because we ripped off the bandage quickly, right? I wish we didn't bring on Hazard because it would have meant that I would have been able to transition faster. But hey, you know what? Vinicius now, it gave Vinicius a reason to fight, and he's fighting, and look what he's doing now. But we'll get to that in the next segment. But I just want last thing I want to say on this whole coaching thing is I think there needs to be a consideration of time in coaching, right? And unfortunately, the idea of most teams is money before results. And so they're going to plug in somebody that helps them in terms of marketing, right? Ole was about marketing to the fan base. So the fan base wouldn't leave, so you can maintain that foundation, right? Bringing on Mourinho was so that you can get outside visibility on broadcasting, right? Same thing with when Zidane came in. It was a double-edged sword. It could have hurt us. It could have benefited us. But we knew for sure marketing, we were killing it. And then we won 4 in 5 years. So yeah, we hit the jackpot. But how often does that happen, right? Pochettino, he doesn't work in a team is full of divas. Pochettino is who they should have brought before Tuchel if they wanted to do anything, because at that
Now
point
it's
you
too
only
late.
had
I
Neymar,
agree. Now
right?
it's too late. I agree.
Now
But
it's too late,
Pochettino to PSG, it's such a disaster. I mean, I
right?
can't say it enough.
Pirlo should not have went there. If anything, Pirlo should have went to Arsenal. That's what he should have. That's what he should have done, or went to Tottenham, right? Where he would have had the time to build and not have the ability to demand a lot of money because he wasn't at that level yet, right?
And I'll say something
Arteta's doing
on
the right thing. Sorry,
exactly. I'm saying something on to Josh because Josh I know hated Arteta for a while, but I tell you this for Arteta, we judged him for a very, very long time.
Yeah,
And I told you, trust the Jeff too, trust the system. And now what is happening? Trust the system. And he's doing it. Nobody was categorizing this guy out. Everybody's like, oh, he needs to go, he needs to go. After Wenger, how are you going to replace such a legend? The guy was the tacticianist. Same thing with Fergie. You can't replace those guys. Everybody thinks that you're going to get lucky with Guardiola every 10 seconds. Those guys come and done in a dive. Like, honestly, it's one in a mill. Is he done? Yeah, won three Champions League. Fantastic for Real Madrid. I mean, everybody wants to win that many Champions League. But La Liga, they lost 11 or 10 in so many years. Barcelona was just ravishing the La Liga, but completely destroying themselves in Champions League. They couldn't find the right balance since Guardiola. And I think some of these coaches need to trust the system. And some of these coaches need to actually go through the ranks. I think Xavi being appointed, I can't say anything because we're in a hot mess. So, yeah, might as well try with Xavi. But if it doesn't work, then you're going to have to bring someone with experience that's gone through the ranks, that has done something. Don't bring me Mourinho and a top name.
Mm-hmm.
Bring me something that I haven't seen before that's gone through the ranks that we need to trust in a new process, like Guardiola did. We had Rijkaard back then. Everybody was like, oh, we need him to go. He needs to go. It's time for a new era. And all of a sudden, Guardiola was named. I remember looking up Guardiola on Google, and I was like, who is this guy? It's like, who invented, what is Guardiola? Like, I didn't even know he played in Barcelona back then. And then I realized, wait, he's been playing for Barcelona B for like 7 years. I was like, oh, wow. So he knows basically all the players in Team A. That makes a monumental difference. When you know those guys coach the team that went up to Team A, that means the ones that went in Team A are technically thanks to him. Because you're only as good as your coach. If they all blew it, they would have been sold. So I think Xavi is too early. I think Rangnick, it's going to be a Viking name again. I think everybody's scared of him because of tacticians. I will say one thing. I don't know how he's going to handle the pressure, and I don't know how he's going to control Cristiano Ronaldo. Sooner or later, there will be a clash. And I think Pochettino is going to get fired at this rate. He is not showing up for the team he has. And I think those divas are in some serious, serious issues. The deal they made to bring Messi and to have him play more for Argentina than PSG, I don't know how they managed to do that. Neymar being injured at the same time every year. I mean, stop giving this guy money, honestly. He is better on the bench. I cannot say this enough. Mbappé needs to go. I mean, his reaction to Messi winning the Ballon d'Or, I was like, well, could be you if you had left for Real Madrid. Could have been you.
Crazy.
But it is what it is.
That is
Do
crazy.
you know how lethal, did you see how lethal Benzema and Mbappé are in the French team? I mean, forget Griezmann, forget all those players. Those two are so lethal. If they would play together, they would really do things. But the problem is Benzema's days are numbered. He's not getting younger. And next year we could starting to see a downfall. Now he got injured now. All it takes is a minor moment for a player to lose his ability and not get back up. Mbappe needs to make that decision now, or else it's too late. If he stays, his career is done.
I think Jeff might have a little more insight on this because I was hearing that because City is still looking for a striker, and there was rumors that Benzema could be, that link to their strike force. Obviously, we all every time these stories come out, it's January around the corner, so we know
You
journalists are
take it with
looking
a grain of
for the
sand,
next
yeah.
story, the easy story, like the clickbait story. But
Exactly.
yeah, so when you kind of think about it, is Benzema a good fit for City? But I heard that Real Madrid wants to keep him because they want
They
to
just
kind of
extended it.
build that
They
Mbappe
just
like
extended it.
have
Oh,
him to,
Benzema's not
exactly,
going anywhere.
yeah, have
Let's
him
just
to
kill this
welcome
now. Benzema's
Mbappe and
not going.
stuff like that. So
Benzema, Modric, and Cruz are going to
Modric's got to
retire
go, my
Real
friend.
Madrid
I
residence.
don't know, Jeff.
They will
Modric's got to
retire in
go.
Madrid. They will retire in Madrid. Let me just put this. Plain and simple. Well, before I get to that, I just want to go one real quickly on what you said. Pochettino will be fired in the summer, 100% guaranteed. Really, Zidane is who they should bring in because it's just a management of egos.
Here's the thing about Zidane. Here's the funny thing. Zidane hates Paris.
Oh yeah, he wants
That's the
he
funny
wants.
thing. I don't. If he goes over there, no one
wait,
in
what city
Marseille
does
would
what
ever
city does
respect him.
Zidane like other than Madrid?
He,
Like this guy,
Marseille. He's from Marseille.
Marseille.
He's
but
from Marseille.
he's not gonna go coach Marseille though.
No, he's not.
I
He
think
No,
he's
said
no,
just
it.
no.
waiting for
He
the
said
French
it.
job at this
He
point.
would rather coach Marseille if Marseille had the investment as PSG.
Yeah,
The problem
exactly.
with PSG is that they're going to offer him something. I actually think he should just hold out and go back to Juventus.
Well, really, to be honest, what he's
Maybe.
going to do is he's going to go and coach France after Deschamps loses in 2022.
Okay, wait.
If
Could that be a takeover in the making? That Zidane said that. That could be a
what,
takeover in the
Juventus?
making. No, Marseille.
Oh no,
That
no,
could
that's
be a
not going to
Wait,
happen.
takeover in the making.
he's going to take over Marseille?
No, I'm saying like uh, some
Oh,
rich
like
Arab
somebody who has
nation
money is
could
going to
buy
invest in
off
Marseille and then
Marseille
bring
because
Well,
Zidane
the
there?
fact that he
Marseille,
said that,
You
that's
can't
Marseille,
build a team
huge.
around hoping Zidane comes and coaches
no.
for
So
you, right?
Marseille was bought over by an American that used to own the Red Sox, and the problem with that team is that they got penalized in UEFA for not respecting FIFA fair play rules. So Marseille is going absolutely nowhere for the next 2 or 3 years.
Oh wow,
And
what happened to PSG? How do they dodge those rules then?
well, exactly, that's a real question. On top of that, the community and let's not go into it because Qatar. Anyways, I'm not gonna.
So I just want to say real quick on Ragnick. I think the Ragnick plan was smart because the plan is interim manager take over the sporting strategy, which is smart because now because what a lot of Man U fans have been talking about for a while is there's no system, there's no plan. Today when I watched them briefly, I couldn't see it. They looked frantic. They looked, unsure. It's his first game, but I don't think the problem is Cristiano Ronaldo for Ragnick. I think the problem is Bruno because today he played Bruno on the right. Didn't do anything. He looked lost. He looked confused. He looked like he wasn't himself. Ragnick's problem is going to be Bruno, not Ronaldo, because you can easily have a striker and just put him up there, and then play your press, press the moment you lose the ball. It's about the midfield on that. Bruno's not going to give you that. Everybody's talking about Ronaldo doesn't press Ronaldo. No, Bruno is the problem. For me, the reason why
I
I hated
agree. I
Ole,
agree. I agree. Bruno is the problem. What I mean by Cristiano Ronaldo is the maintaining his health. I think Zidane did a very good thing. I think that's to be the issue with Ronaldo. I agree with you. It's not going to be like a problem that he's a bad player. I think he's going to have to tell Cristiano Ronaldo, okay, you're 36-year-old. Like you need to calm down. There are games you can't play, and there are games you will play. Sometimes you're going to have to come in at the 60th minute, and that's something that Ronaldo will have to start respecting him. That's the only issue I see.
100%.
Bruno, agree with you. Terrible, but I'll let you go. Sorry.
No, I think I honestly think Cristiano. People give him too much flack. I think he will accept it if you communicate it early. But to just randomly show up, pull him off at the 60th minute, that doesn't make any sense. You're losing or you're drawing. It doesn't make any sense. Come on. And that makes I get why he was angry in those things. Zidane communicated early. I will take you off in this game at this time. If we're losing, I might keep you on. But again, Fred, McTominay, Bruno, you cannot run Rangnick's system with that quality of players. It's like what Arteta. Reason why I was so mad at Arteta because he was trying to play David Luiz and Xhaka in this system that they don't have the skills to do. You can't play up from the back with people like that in your midfield. What does he do? Gets Partey. I'm like, okay, now you're thinking. right? Now you're thinking outside of I need to have quality in order for me to be able to play the system I don't want to play. Ragnick, I think, will create a system. My problem is you have so much money on your wage bill. You have so many people who have high wages. How are you going to sell them? How are you going to change up your squad to be able to play the system that you want? You don't have the quality in them. You don't have the defenders. You're paying them too much. You're going to have to let contracts run out. It's going to take way too long. Ragnick's problem, United's problem was never the coach. I'm sorry. United's problem was you were trying to shoehorn people, or you were trying to just say, Ole system, go out there and play your best soccer. That's not going to work when you have Bruno and Pogba there. That's why I hated Ole, because he stopped Pogba from leaving to go to Madrid, and actually hurt United and benefited Real Madrid more. Now Pogba never had his Real Madrid dream, because Real Madrid is not going to pay him, even if we never have to buy him. We're not going to pay him the money. We have Valverde, we have Camavinga, and then Chouameni is coming up. Why we have Casemiro, who's only 29. There's no need to bring Pogba in there. He's just going to throw everything off, and then he's going to throw off your wage balance. And this is not the time to be doing that. Now, dude needs to consider going back to Juventus or going to PSG and living in a golden jail. And that, for me, was Ole's problem. His ability, he wasn't making the right decision in terms of bringing people in. Now United's in a situation where you won't be able to sell anybody unless you sell them to Newcastle, and that's only if Newcastle doesn't get relegated. And so you're not going to sell them to people who have money like Real Madrid and like Real Madrid and PSG and City and Chelsea, because they have their players. There's nobody on United that anybody wants. There's nobody.
PSG will never stop buying players.
PSG will buy everybody as long as it makes money and has a chance of winning Champions League. But anyways, that's just my point about the whole Ragnick situation. I think it was a smart move. They should have made this move two coaches ago. Instead of bringing in Mourinho, they should have brought Ragnick in, and then they could have made the decision and brought in Conte or Pochettino. That is what they should have done. But now they're doing it backwards, and it's going to take a lot longer for you guys to get up to where you're trying to get to.
I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that, Jeff. I don't think Pochettino will stay that long. I actually think Pochettino in the summer he sees that things aren't going anywhere, they're not winning Champions League, the PSG board gets angry.
Sorry,
maybe Man U is a.
I didn't mean that Pochettino won't come. I meant more that you have to rebuild the squad to play in Ragnick's system and work with Pochettino. You can't have Pogba, Bruno, and Ronaldo and play Ragnick's system with any coach. The only coach that could have worked, the only coach that they should have brought in the summer was Conte. That's the only coach they should have brought that was available, because he would have said, I don't care who you think you are. You're playing my system the way that I want you to play it, and you're not going to talk back to me. Agreed. They need discipline. Ragnick will give them discipline in terms of training, in terms of a discipline of ability, but he won't give them that coherence, that chemistry, because they don't have the quality in the midfield. And Bruno is too about himself. This is a guy who's trying to win Ballon d'Or. 100% guarantee. You watch in January when they're playing in the playoffs for the World Cup. Watch, you'll see Bruno, Jota.
For me, I also
they're going to be so selfish. Ronaldo Silva is the future of Portugal.
You know what? It's crazy.
Silva, that is a G. That's a G right there. A G.
It's funny because we actually talked about that this morning. It's weird how Diego Jota. He's sensational for Liverpool. Yeah, he had a really terrible miss yesterday, but he's very sensational for Liverpool. But when he puts on that Portuguese jersey, no, he's doing his job. He's doing his job. He's
just as good for Portugal as he is with Liverpool. The difference is with Liverpool, he's
just so selfish. He's so selfish with Portugal. It's like he's trying to compete with Ronaldo or something.
The same thing with Liverpool.
I don't know what it is.
It's the same thing with Liverpool. If you see him get the ball in the midfield, and Salah and Mane are in front of him, he passes right, and he can make the through ball. He'll play it short so he can stay in the play. He can get the goal. I hate the way he plays. I see why Simeone didn't want him, or didn't play him at Atleti, because dude was selfish. You could see it. And Simeone, you are a team. You are a unit, and that's the problem with Liverpool right now. Is that Firmino is injured, and if Firmino wasn't injured, Jota
wouldn't play. He wouldn't play.
So, and you know what? And this is I was going to talk about I kind of agree to what Jeff was saying about like we said, we have 5 minutes, guys, or less than 5 minutes now. But I had mentioned about the Xavi situation and ex players coming in. I think I agree with what Jeff was saying. That is maybe what Barcelona is doing is what Manchester United did was this is chaotic. We've tried what's Coleman. We tried Coleman. This is still not working. We've lost our best player. What's the best way to appease the fans, stabilize? What kind of what Ole did at United? He stabilized the ship. Whether you agree with it or not, I think he stabilized us a bit. Brought the fans on board again because Xavi is one
He
of
did.
Barcelona's biggest legends, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what Barcelona is trying to do, and I think Barcelona is going to be a little different than United because you guys are going to know when to it's not working, let's move on. I think the problem with Manchester United was
You
we
sure, Josh?
stayed way too long. I don't know, I'm just saying, I'm hoping just from the history of Barcelona
Well,
and
He's
Real
a bigger
Madrid.
legend. I think it'd be harder to rip off that Band-Aid, man.
Well, if
Um,
Juve did it for Pirlo, I can definitely see them doing it
The
for
Pirlo wasn't
Xavi,
just a
for
legend at
Xavi.
Juve. He was an
you,
Yeah,
Italian
he was
legend.
more of an AC Milan legend. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But he also did his thing. But I guess, but Italy is different though. Italy is about they come together because of their Italian legend, right? Like
That's
he
true.
was club and country. They doesn't
you
matter
guys
who you
forget.
play for.
You guys forget the Xavi. The reason people like Xavi is because Guardiola took him under his wing to teach him things that potentially others weren't teaching, which is why I made him so brilliant on the pitch as he took off. Then he had Enrique, who taught him so many things. So then he went off and said, "Okay, I want to coach." He went and did it right away. He didn't have a year off. He went right away and coached, and he was player coach. So I think a lot of people love Xavi because he is brilliant tactic. I've seen some of his Arabic games, his Saudi games, and some of them were really impressive with
Mm-hmm.
players that I've never heard of. So I will give him the tactic side. Now, does that automatically transfer to the Spanish league? No, no, it doesn't. So he has work to do and he has to show up. Will Barcelona fire him? I think it'll be easier to fire him if he doesn't perform because they'll be like, oh, he's too junior, but we did this for the fans. That I agree. Are they going to fire him on time? I don't think so. I think we'll wait a good year until maybe
A
it's
year
time to
longer than
move
they
on.
should. Yeah.
Yeah. The Coman situation was the previous board. I can't say anything about that. I mean, everybody hated every single decision of the previous board.
Yeah.
The reason Laporta couldn't fire him because they didn't have the money. I honestly
That's it.
think that he wanted to fire him right away if he could,
Yep.
and they could not find the funds. It was either renew certain contracts or fire Coleman. And they were like, okay, we keep Coleman, we renew the contract. When the clauses and money started coming in, because fans started coming in, they were like, okay, we secured the finance front, we stopped the bleeding, we can at least buy some players. Now we can fire him, and they
Mhm.
did fire him. And he's a legend, he was, but a lot of people forget our legend Kof never liked Coleman. I don't know how many people
Mm.
thought about that, but they never
Right.
liked him. So to me, that was like, okay, well, if he doesn't like him and he's a Barca legend, then something's wrong. And this was it. But I think Barcelona has never been this team that goes after star coaches. They've never traditionally done that. They've gone after coaches that they feel reminisces tiki taka Barcelona DNA. And every time they go and seek someone externally, it crumbles. So I personally don't think that Xavi will do bad. I don't know how well he would do if he doesn't have full reign on his team. We need a striker. We need a better winger. I don't trust Dembele. I actually think Dembele should leave. I think that we should just cut our losses. He's injured all the
But
I
time.
was
Xavi-
actually
He needs to go.
surprised that you guys were
Xavi
still
loves
trying to.
Dembele.
I'm surprised you guys were still trying to
Dembele
keep
is better than
Dembele
Mbappe if you ask Laporta,
They
right?
like
because he's
they
asking
like
for
them.
more money, isn't he? He's asking for more money now.
One, he's asking for money that he shouldn't be asking, seeing his past record.
Oh, my
Second,
goodness, yeah.
I think that Xavi has identified a key problem since the past 2 years of Barcelona, which is the medical unit. I, for one, as a fan, had not known this much medical stuff was going on behind closed
Oh,
doors.
yeah.
I did not.
Same
I
thing
did
happened in
not
Madrid
know.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
did
lot
not
of
know.
clubs. That's a lot
Yeah.
of clubs.
I did not know 5 of the key doctors had gone, which
Mhm.
were through the era of Xavi, Guardiola, and so forth. That for
Yeah.
me is a big red flag that I had no clue. And I did not know so many things behind closed doors that when I see this is going on now, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Maybe they see something in Dembele. What I will say is that yesterday he played. He was amazing. He didn't get injured. But the same thing happens with Dembele all the time. I think he needs contact lenses. He does not see the goal. He shoots 15 times and he hits one post and he gets paid quadruple of what I'll ever even imagine to make. It's
No,
just
yeah,
beyond me. So
he's not it.
in my view, I think he should go. I think Barcelona doesn't want to let him go for free. I think that's the
That's the
ego
problem.
problem.
That's the
I
problem.
think
Because
that's
you
the
spend
ego
so much
problem.
money on him, right?
Exactly.
You
So
spend so much money.
Xavi likes him because he wants to keep him to potentially sell him or include him in another player. But I actually think he should go. The whole thing about us trying to keep him drives me insane. I've never seen a
No,
player that resembles more Neymar than Dembele.
it's the same. It's the same situation as Bale. Just because I know we're out of time. It's the same situation as Bale. Just unplug it. Just let it run out. You go. We get the money back. We can now bring in quality players or some young people, or even pay those young people who are doing well more to keep them, and not have the Newcastles and the state-owned places peel them away. Right? Ferran Torres at City says he wants to leave, and Barcelona is opening the door. Get rid of Dembele so you can give Ferran Torres something solid, because that guy knows where the goalposts are. To him, they don't move, unlike Dembele. Also, the other thing with Dembele, you keep him, you re-sign him, even if you keep him on the same deal, no one is going to take that deal. No one is going to take that same level from you. And you're not going to be able to sell him because he's glass. You think Hazard and Bale are glass? Dembele, has he even played more than 2 months of a season?
I was gonna say 2 months.
That's the issue with Dembele. I don't understand it. But I was just this last little thing, because I know we're out of time. Everybody that was talking about how the Liga is crumbling and all this stuff and all this, y'all watch out for Madrid. Y'all watch out. If you're watching this right now and you talked about how the Liga is falling, and you talked about how there's no quality, and you're listening to people like Pellegrini say, "Oh, it's slow," and people stop the ball too long. If you have the ability, if there are rules in a game, right, that says that, hey, you can do professional fouls, are you not gonna do it? All these arguments about it's slow, it's boring, it's this, that's stupid. Because ultimately, when Italy, boring, but what do? They win, right? Germany even, kind of boring.
It's
What
just
do they
Bayern,
do?
man.
They win. And this is the thing. Sorry, when I say Germany, like this national team. Even Chelsea, when I watched them, even before they had, before James was doing the stuff he's doing. James is a phenomenal player. We can talk about them in UCL. But before they brought in Lukaku, Chelsea's play was boring. They win 1-0. Even this season, they won so many 1-0 games. Boring. Mourinho, boring. But when you played at Real Madrid, when he's coaching Real Madrid, the most goals in a season, right? And this is what I'm trying to say is it's not about boring and style. It's about effectiveness, right? What Real Madrid is, yesterday we lost Benzema in the 17th minute. Who stepped up? The 21-year-old Vinicius Jr., who has been finishing worse than Dembele and Sterling in the last 3 seasons. This guy is a G. This is why I don't think Modric should go. Our midfield is fine. Our problem
But
is
he
in need of
stepped up
backup
too
right
last
back.
season against
What'd you say?
Atalanta. He stepped up last season against Atlanta. He seems to step up.
Vinicius Jr.?
Yeah, he seems to step up when it matters.
Vinicius Jr. has always been a gem. The real problem with him is the same thing as Dembele. It's consistency. He's great now, but when you bring Mbappe, what is he going to do? Is he going to play at that same level or have inconsistent? This is the problem with modern day.
Mbappe will play on the right.
Well, that's the thing. You think that, but my problem with modern day players is exactly that: the consistency. I look at Salah and so forth, Son, and I'm thinking, at this rate, I might as well go get those guys because I know they play day in, day out. Some of these young guys, they just annoy me. They play well one game, we make them like, oh, the next Messi, the next Cristiano Ronaldo. And then for the next 5 seasons, I'm trailing their bills because I have to pay doctor notes because they're going every 10 seconds to the medical room or on the treadmill or something like that. Fatih is like the same one for me.
Vinicius does not have an injury issue. And at the same time,
now, Vinicius, but that's my point.
But remember though, right? Like
now, last
Dembele.
3 seasons.
Dembele, when you guys got Dembele, he was like 22. Dembele was glass. Dembele was glass. He was born glass. This is who he is. It's like Bale. He was born glass. This is who they are. Vinicius is a different animal. Also, the Vinicius situation of consistency was not in terms of his ability to play on the ball or off the ball. It was his ability to connect with the team. right? He was just too dribbly. He was too Neymar-ish, and we needed somebody to pull that back. Zidane is not that kind of player. He's not the kind of coach. Zidane's the type of coach who says, "Go out there and show your skills." And that's why he chose Hazard over Vinicius, because for him, he's like, "Oh, I know your skills." He's shown it for the last 8 years in Chelsea. Whereas Vinicius, there was nothing for him to rely on. But you have someone like Ancelotti who knows how to say, calm down and connect with your teammates. Boom! This guy is not only the things that he's learning and doing, even the way he plays, like he slowed his game down. It's not, like Dembele, when he comes back from injury, he's still doing the same thing. It's like Hazard. He comes back from injury, he's still trying to turn on people. I'm like, you can't. You can get taken out and you're going to get injured again, or else people are going to not, and you're not as fast and agile as you used to be. Also, you're also fat, so you're too heavy to move, to turn. So for me, Vinicius, I wouldn't talk about Vinicius this way if I didn't see him actually changing his mind. The way he plays, man. I saw him play in the Athletic Club Sevilla game. I was like, why is this guy running? You know, remember he used to kick the ball and he'd run, pass one ball and he'd run. He was calm. He get the ball, look, no, pass it back. When he knows he can beat you, he'll go and then he'll break the. He's completely changed, and he's changed in a way that is sustainable. That's why I'm raving about him. So watch next season.
I know it's not. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, and I'll wrap up.
Sorry, Josh. No,
go ahead, then I'll wrap up.
I agree with Jeff that he's an amazing player, but I'm kind of sick and tired of all these young guys. I can't judge them anymore until they actually do more. So I think Vinicius, if he continues on this way and he shuts my mouth by the end of the year, and he's one of the top strikers in La Liga, in a Liga that's, in my view, this year super weak, because there's just too many issues left and right, whether it's Real Sociedad, whether it's Sevilla, Madrid coming on top because they're by far the best team. If he's a top striker, then I'll say, okay, next year watch for this kid. But right now it's 5-6 games mid-season. I'll hold my horses. But I will say
it's not 5-6 games, man.
I'll hold my horses.
15 games.
No, it's 5-6 games where he's been incredible. The beginning of the year. I'm serious. The beginning of the year, he wasn't that good.
Go back.
Benzema.
Player of the month in August, October, November.
Player of the month in August. Man. There was no other player. Come on.
Champions League, even in Champions League, he was doing the same thing. What are you talking about here?
No, Champions League, he hasn't been that great. He's been great because being served the ball, man. Go back to those games. Watch Benzema. I'm telling you, man. Watch the game.
The stat. Look at the stat. We have created more from the left. We start with Vinicius.
Agree. But my problem with Real Madrid is not Vinicius. My problem with Real Madrid is Hazard. Now that Hazard has left the team, the player they spent so much money on, Vinicius, is coming up. And this is my problem. Because now I think that it shows that they should have trusted their system. And I think some of these clubs should trust the damn system. And I think Fati is one of these cases. I, myself, love Fati. But until I've actually seen something from him consistently without injury, I would not start him. And I'm sick and tired of these clubs putting him in and saying, oh, he's the best player. I think Rashford should have had much more potential if he just had a little bit more time to come in the game. I think Vinicius had 3 years. He's been watching Bale play golf. He's been watching Hazard. I think that this is why he's performing. I actually think he's a brilliant player. Best player on Real Madrid apart from Benzema. Now without Benzema, he stepped up. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Let's see what he does without Benzema, because I truly believe he can be that player. I have no doubt in my mind. The problem with these new generation players is that we see first half of the season, you're raving about him. Oh my God, I can't wait to see him. Same thing, me, Fati. Oh my God, I can't wait. Boom, gets injured, and the next season I'm dealing with 2 Dembeles on the team. Or I look at Man U and I'm like, oh, Bruno, amazing Bruno. Oh, I couldn't wait. Next season, Ole's not there. Guy's so selfish. He's tanking all over the place. Oh, let's bring in a 38-year-old to fix it.
But he was doing the same thing in sporting, right? Like you got to look at who they were.
But that's my point.
Why
didn't they go for him? And
but Dembele was the same. The Dembele you have today is the same person who was in Dortmund.
No, he wasn't. That's the thing. No, he wasn't. That's what angers me so much.
Nope.
In Dortmund, he was never injured, and that's what pissed me off.
In
He was
Dortmund,
never.
That
He was
makes
never
sense. He was
in
never
his last
injured,
season,
but the
his last
style
season
of
in
play
Dortmund,
was.
his last
Style
season
was
in
always there.
Dortmund.
Style was there. Style was there. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm saying his injuries were never this bad. Then he came to Barcelona, and you start hearing these things that I've never heard from a professional player. I don't care how young you are, how old, where you come from the slums or a rich White House. I couldn't give a crap. But if I start hearing you're popping McDonald's every weekend as a top performing player, I'm cutting your contract.
No, but that's the point I'm trying to make. He was the same mental player.
Oh yeah. Mental play.
Same thing with Bruno. And this is why I put Vinicius in a separate bracket. This is why I put Haaland and Mbappe, because their head game is on football. Physically,
I don't know how you feel about Jeff. I don't know how you feel about
in.
Mbappe, man.
Sorry?
I don't. You said Mbappe. I don't know how you feel about him. My problem with Mbappe is I think his head has gotten way bigger than it should. I think
So. I think
he's
you know
been
Mbappe he's
amazing.
kind of rubbing me the
He's
wrong
been
way. I can't lie.
yeah,
Lately, he
No,
is
amazing at PSG.
skill
And
wise. I
now
still rate
The
him.
problem
Jeff,
with Mbappe is the golden jail. The problem with Mbappe is
I
all
actually
the
don't think
voice,
PSG
all
is
the
his
norms.
problem. What happened over the summer is something I've never seen from a young player. That's something I wouldn't tolerate. If
What do you mean?
Giroud is asking to be respected.
Come on, nobody has had a summer like that where your team gets offered 200 million euros.
No, I'm not talking about transfers.
Hold on. Let me finish. Because that whole summer with Mbappe, the issue with Mbappe was he didn't know what was going to happen. Can you imagine if you didn't know whether your company was going to keep you or whether the companies that you've been interviewing with are going to give you more than or give you exactly what you've been getting? Like, think about it, man. And you're going to Europe, and you have a new striking partner with Benzema, and like there's so many things swirling around this guy that I don't blame him for the way he's acting, because it's a one-off. It's a one-off. He's not selfish like Neymar. You saw Neymar go into the summer and come back in the summer, and he had a belly. Mbappe came after that summer, after the whole summer situation, the fiasco with France, and the whole fiasco that happened with transfers. What did he do? He came back and was doing what he came back and continued
Jeff,
what he was doing.
Explain to me why he's ninth.
It's something that you don't take it for granted, man.
But explain to me why he's ninth in Ballon d'Or.
Why he's ninth in Ballon d'Or? Because France didn't go anywhere in Europe. Also because PSG didn't do anything in UCL. That's why he's ninth in Ballon d'Or. He's not ninth in Ballon d'Or because of his head game or because he's acting he's too egotistical. No,
I got to be honest. As much as I agree with you on the whole summer thing, I don't know how you feel, Josh, but in my view, Mbappe has been our golden star for France. And 2018, he was the kid. I really wanted to believe him. Now, it's natural when you progress and you get more fame, you become more cocky and you develop an identity. And he has done so. I can understand his summer being complicated. But he hasn't won any Ballon d'Or. He hasn't won top striker. He hasn't been top performing player in Ligue 1. He lost Ligue 1 last year to Lille. To get a big head this quick, I think you need to pump the brakes. And what I didn't appreciate.
Are you blaming him for losing the league last year? Or you blaming?
No, I think
I'm not blaming him for losing the league. I'm saying from a player that's this good should have more patience. And I think Vinicius is a clear example of having patience. I think there are players nowadays that have patience. Benzema has patience. How many years have people been saying Benzema is crap behind Cristiano Ronaldo, that he should go and he's only good because Cristiano Ronaldo goes, he steps up to the plate. Mbappe is an amazing player, but the risk of those players to end up like Ronaldinho or Neymar is to have bad surrounding. I think he knows. You cannot tell me he doesn't know he has a bad surrounding with Neymar.
Oh, he knows, 100%. That's why he wants to leave.
Exactly, and he wanted to leave, but he never manifested himself. Why?
Because he's still a Parisian.
Correct.
He still wants to play for France. He doesn't want to get outcasted. He doesn't want to get hurt. He doesn't want to hurt the play. Like, come on.
No. I think Mbappe wants to leave. I think it's just
he never
right
said
now.
France, man.
He never said it, and this is what bothers me with him. You can't go to Giroud and say, "Listen, I'm not going to pass you the ball because you're not a top player." You can't do that. when Giroud has been the top performing guy. It doesn't matter what you can say. That shouldn't have happened for a player.
But Giroud should not have been. Giroud should not have been going to Mbappe and being like, "Oh, pass me." Do you know how many times we see that in a game where somebody's like, "Yo, I'm wide open. Why didn't you pass it to me?" And then you're gonna go after, and you're gonna say it to this guy who is worth more than your shoe. Giroud had no right to go and talk to Mbappe. Sorry, the whole Giroud thing is that's like the whole Rabiot Pogba thing. Like, shut up, man. Focus on the game. How many opportunities has Giroud been given when you pass him the ball and he doesn't score?
Giroud has been cut from the French team because of this situation.
But Giroud was already done, though. Giroud was literally on. But I'll be honest with you, Giroud was on that French team just based on like
so they needed
there was really nobody else that was really like Martial wasn't really doing
for the Euro. I get it. But
he played his role well. He played his role well, but I don't think he really had
to go out this way. Out this way, I mean, it's thanks to him that they also won the World Cup. His passes, his headers, he may have not scored, but his on-field contribution was unparalleled.
Oh yeah,
and that's something. Trust me, man. And I'm one of those.
No.
That
and
I just
I'm
look
saying
at stats. I look
what
at
I'm saying for Mbappe is my fear for Mbappe of not manifesting what he wants in his golden cage is starting to get on my nerves. I want him to go, and I want him to say it's not about renewing or not renewing. You want to say it, just say it. Openly say you want to leave and move on. You can't drag the team.
You're in Paris. You know all the news, man. You know about how Rabiot did that, and they benched him. They literally said, "I'm going to end your career for you thinking you're bigger than us." You know how PSG is. Mbappe is smart. Mbappe knows that, hey,
exactly.
If I want to leave here on a good note, if I want
so
to
that's
make
the
sure
mature thing. So
I'm still
mature about that in a sense.
Yeah, he's honestly.
Because
I think Mbappe has handled this.
Like think about Pogba at United. Pogba says, "I need a new challenge," and what happened? He became the virus of the club.
There's a massive difference in what you're talking about. There's a massive difference. Mbappe is a leader of PSG. At his age, he is a leader. They know that if Mbappe goes,
Leonardo,
you trying to say Pogba is not a leader at United?
Sorry.
You're trying to say Pogba is not a leader at United? I'm just saying, like, if Mbappe said, "I want to leave," I think
Pogba
this
says, "I want to leave today," I wouldn't give a crap. If Cristiano Ronaldo says he wants to leave Man U, I think Man U fans need to work. There's something going on. Problem. Pogba wants to leave. So what? He wanted to leave Juventus, and it's not the first time. This is the first club Mbappe would leave that would be his home club. Now,
no, that's what I'm saying. That he's so the point we're trying to make is Mbappe is doing the right thing. He's obviously, I'm sure he wants to leave, but he's trying to be respectful.
Is it the right thing? Is it the right thing?
I think it's the right thing to not
what
be
has
respectful. Yeah.
What has PSG treated him as? They rejected 200 mil, so clearly they didn't hold their word. Why would he hold his word?
No, don't get it twisted. PSG plays a game of cat and mouse. PSG is not playing a game of we value you, because if you valued Mbappe the most, you wouldn't have signed Neymar at $34 million when he's not been giving you a full season in how many years, whereas Mbappe has. Right?
Agreed.
The problem is PSG. The problem isn't Mbappe. The problem is the fact that Leonardo and the state-owned those guys they're so big-headed. Mbappe was quiet the whole time. Mbappe he was mature about it, and he said, you know what? I want to give you guys. Don't want to leave for free. I want to get $200 million. $200 million. What do you say? No. Why? Because we think we could sign Mbappe. No, it's because you don't want to strengthen a direct rival. Sorry, you don't want to strengthen a direct rival for UCL. Not even Ligue 1. PSG doesn't care about the league. They don't care. PSG is fighting against other clubs in other leagues, and that's why Mbappe had to play it smart. He's like, I can't. If I leave PSG, even if it's Real Madrid, even if he goes to Liverpool, City, Chelsea, no matter what, PSG would have acted the same way if they slipped 200 million. Man, look at Chelsea slapped 150 mil for Haaland. What did Dortmund say? No.
I'll say this.
Haaland didn't come out and say, "I want to leave. I want to leave." Haaland played it. He said, "I'm going to come back and give you hat tricks upon hat tricks." Mbappe did the same thing. I'm going to give you hat tricks upon hat tricks. That's how you do things as a mature person who's gone past that whole Dembele, all those.
Sorry. Okay, Eve, go ahead. Yeah.
Guys, I'll say the last thing. I get with the maturity part. I get that. But you can't tell me that in January, when he starts speaking to Real Madrid and news start coming on that he signed for Real Madrid, those fans won't be not pissed. They're going to be pissed. They're going to be angry. So will
But
PSG.
they'll get over it.
They
They'll
won't.
get over it because
Here's the
That's
thing.
football.
PSG
They're
had an
all going to leave at some
opportunity.
point.
Because PSG had an opportunity,
Jeff.
they'll get over it.
Jeff. I don't think PSG will accept it as much as they would have accepted it now, because they're going to be in the next stage of Champions League. It's going to hurt them a lot more, and the club, and it's all going to damage Mbappe here. You don't know what I see on L'Equipe and all that. Those guys
he's not going to sign
bashing.
in January.
He can.
He's not going to sign in January.
He can if he wants to.
No, I know, but he's not going to. I guarantee he's not going to.
But he can easily say, "I'll wait till my June 30th." Of course he can.
No, but he will.
The realistic fact is that he won't sign with PSG in January.
No,
that's for sure.
Oh yeah, no, he won't sign with PSG. Yeah, PSG.
Exactly.
His career in PSG.
So that means that
I think there's always going to be criticism, no matter what. When Hazard left Chelsea,
amount of criticism.
there was criticism on him too.
My
Even though
debate,
he had given his blood and everything for
exactly. But my debate was: should he have raised his voice, or should he have waited, or should he have played it out? Your guys are saying more mature, but in my view, a mature person would just openly say, "Listen, guys, I gave you 5 years. I actually want to take it to the next level. I love PSG, but I need to go. I will give you until June 30th, and I'll go." Holding it out this long could potentially damage his relationship in France. A team that has been giving him everything, according to what they're saying, in my view, is just a golden cage. I would have loved for him to say, "This is my last season. I'm giving you everything I can." Holding it out.
But he has
the
said
news
that,
will constantly.
He did say
he
that.
hasn't. Here's the thing.
No,
Here's
he
the
said
thing.
that.
He has not. I guarantee you, Jeff. I guarantee you, every show I'm watching every Sunday when he plays, they're all like, "I have a close friend." His own words. His own words were.
He spoke to Leonardo.
Yeah,
he spoke to Leonardo, and he said, "If Real Madrid comes for me, you should take the deal because I'm not signing." And Leonardo and the Sheikh were like, "Oh, you know what? Screw it.
No,
we don't need the money. So we're gonna. If you want to go for free, we're gonna hold out an opportunity and try to show you that we can keep you and put people around you." I don't agree with all that.
I think the Mbappe situation is similar to the Kane situation as Spurs. Not as crazy as that, but very similar.
If you're mature, Eve, you will talk to your boss. You won't go and talk to the world. You go and say, "Hey, boss,
that's my point.
This is my situation," and he definitely did that.
That's PSG
is just trying to save face.
Whether they save face or not, what we're getting, the news we're getting here is Mbappe said, "If I would not go for free." That's 100% what he said. I will not go for free. So
which is fair, though. Which is fair.
Which is fair. Wait, just let me finish. So the French are saying, "Oh well, if you're not going for free, then you got to sign another year because we gotta make you go for." And he's saying, "No, the offer of 200 mil came along. I'll hold my contract. I haven't decided yet." And he drags it. If you're fair, you have to go to your manager to go to the next club. You have to, always. Even if I'm at work, I have to manifest what I want. Whether he did it or not, it's completely not.
Sorry, so are you saying that $200 million that came in, he said he wasn't going to take, he said he didn't want to go, he's going to finish out his contract?
He never said he was going to finish out his contract. That's the worst part. That's what you're saying, based on Spanish news.
When you said, "I'm going to finish out my contract," and the $200 million,
I'm saying,
I'm not going to go for free, the $200 million came, and PSG didn't take it. Whose fault is it then?
Correct. PSG. That's my point.
Thank you.
That's my point. So my point is,
why would people be mad at him? Why would people be mad at him if he leaves?
People would be mad at him regardless. But my point, I think Josh's battery died. But my point to the situation is just saying, if he would have said, "Okay, 200 million didn't come along," he should have said, "Listen, I made a deal with PSG. They didn't want to sell me. That's fine. Wait until June. I'm pretty sure we'll leave even worse taste with PSG than being upfront about it." He was going to have criticism regardless. Let's be honest. Regardless.
I agree with you. But I think that France as a whole will get over him leaving in June, knowing that Real Madrid offered PSG 20 million, they rejected it. Right now, he has all the power.
If they win Champions League. If they don't, they will wriggle him. They will wriggle him, saying, "Oh, it's him. He wasn't motivated."
Only if he doesn't score or assist. If he plays the way he's playing now throughout the whole season, I guarantee you he'll leave in June. Everybody will be fine with it.
All right. So here's my last question before we cast off, because I got to go. Who's replacing Mbappe at PSG?
Well, you guys don't have the money, so nobody.
So you're thinking they won't buy no one?
I don't think they have to
I'm
necessarily
thinking,
replace Mbappe right away. They have enough star power. Because
yeah,
No,
sometimes
they
you
don't.
understand, like
No, they
when you
don't.
have those
They
three
have no
star
one.
players, sometimes that because I think Di Maria offers a better balance in that front
30,
three.
33 or 34 years old.
But at least even if you had one season, I'm sure there's going to be someone that will come up that they can scoop up.
let's
I
put it
think
this way: there's
Martial
nobody
should go.
you can
I
replace
would think
Mbappe with
Martial
right
should
now.
even go to PSG. Like I'm
I wouldn't
thinking,
be
not
surprised.
a
I wouldn't be
Martial type
surprised
of
they go
player.
after. I wouldn't be surprised they go after. I think City
You know
will
what I
go after
mean?
a
Like
striker. City will go after a striker, whether it's Haaland, whether it's Kane. They'll go after a
Oh
striker.
yeah, no. Kane is going to City. Kane is going to City in June.
I actually think that
But
too.
I
I
don't
think
think
Kane will
there's,
go 100%. Haaland is the one I think PSG will go all in on. I
it won't
think they'll
happen.
offer him. I
It
don't
won't
think so
happen.
either. But
I think
you'd be
PSG.
very surprised.
Let me
Money
put
is
it
going
this
to play a
way:
role.
there's nobody. One. There's very limited number of people you can replace Mbappe with. First of all. Second of all, to Josh's point, do you really need to right away? Third of all, I think PSG shot themselves in the foot really hard by not taking the $200 million or even
Agreed.
negotiating the $200 million with Real Madrid and saying,
Agreed.
you know what, we'll do it, but can we do it? But we'll take it, but then like let's sign and trade. Like they could have done something because now
Take Bale.
nobody. Well, Bale is going to retire.
Take
Nobody
Bale.
is going to want to sign for PSG because if you're going to treat somebody who's from Paris who won the World Cup, who is a up and coming legend. You're gonna treat him the way you treated the way you treated Mbappe. Why would Haaland go there? Why would Haaland go there and sign anything more than 1 year? Right? Because now everybody who's gonna come to PSG is gonna be like, I'm gonna make sure I have my own way out because these guys were not gonna let me get out. And that is the problem with PSG.
I
I
don't.
don't think Mbappe can be replaced. I think if anything,
Nah, Mbappe can't be replaced. That's for sure. Will he be replaced? For sure. I think Paris will panic buy in the summer. In my view, I think they'll go after Haaland hardcore. I think they're going to go after players that think they. I wouldn't be surprised they go after like who's
they're
a
gonna
right
take
wing.
Asensio.
I think they'll go. They'll go after and try and hurt the people that took Mbappe. So they'll
Yeah,
probably go after Real Madrid players. But Real Madrid was smart and they extended everyone. So who's left in the
yeah,
market? I think the only players left in the market would be like maybe some players from Man U at
yeah.
best.
Maybe Ronaldo.
Chelsea,
Maybe
yeah,
Ronaldo.
maybe Ronaldo. And they'll be like, oh, we're the first team ever to reunite Ronaldo and Messi, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can see them. I can
Anyway,
see them
sorry
going for
guys.
Ronaldo.
That would
Love the
sell. That would
debate.
sell.
This is the debate I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted.
That's good, man. Yeah, I've been watching. I've been enjoying this. I definitely have. But sorry, guys. I know obviously because of time,
Yeah.
we got obligation. But like I said, guys, this is gonna be a regular show, that we're gonna try to have. So, for those of you watching, we're gonna have a lot more of this kind of content coming your way. But the one thing I wanted to say, guys, before I wrap up, sorry, I know
Hmm.
there's a lot to talk about, but um it's yeah, I don't know, man. It's a tough one, but I think Mbappe is doing the right thing by not, making it kind of global that he wants to leave and causing a fit because we all know what happens, right? If he does that, the media is on him that what does he who does he think he is, blah blah blah, um so I think he's doing the right thing. It's like when you work for a company, as much as the company is doing you dirt, is not you're not happy, but the most professional thing to do is, even though you want to leave and you talk to your supervisor that you're not happy in your current role, whatever it is, the most professional thing to do is never burn those bridges, right? And trying to do it in the most
I don't think
amicable way,
Mbappe is
because I
burning
think
those bridges. Honestly,
but I
I
think
think
the whole world already knows that he wants to leave. I think the whole world
Yeah.
knows that Real Madrid is his destination. It's
Yeah.
just a
He
matter
doesn't
of,
need to come out and
can
say
they
it.
get that business done, right? Versus
here's my
Kane in
problem.
England.
Here's my final problem. If he had that chat with the manager, which apparently he did, Nasser would not come out and say open and publicly as he signed Messi. Mbappe has no excuse. That for me is personally dogging him in front of the camera, in front of the world, and that's my problem. I would have loved for Mbappe to stick it to him and say, "Listen, we had an agreement. You didn't take it.
Oh,
Now I'm good."
I agree with
Yep.
that, Eve. I agree with that. I would have loved it if Mbappe came out and said that. But Mbappe not doing that was him showing he's mature about it, and he wants to maintain the fans that love him truly love him, not because he's on PSG, truly love him, he wants to maintain them in Paris because he will always wear what? He was always
I
wear the
know,
cock
but
on his
PSG
chest,
don't
man.
I
even
don't know.
deserve
He's leaving home
PSG
too,
don't
so it's
even
harder when you're leaving home versus
PSG don't even
Yeah,
deserve one blimp of that.
yeah.
I
But
100%
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
PSG doesn't
I
deserve what they have.
Sorry, guys. Let's wrap this up because I know it's gonna open a new can of worms that we're gonna keep, debating.
We'll catch you
We
midweek
could,
on UCL.
no, but it's awesome, man. We can definitely be here all day, but and I'm kind of happy. I also wanted to bring up the fact that I'm happy that you guys are talking about that with Bruno because a lot of United fans do not want to hear that Bruno is not who we think he is. He's not Cantona, he's not whatever name you want to give him. He's not. Everyone. I think we're in an age where people just want to look at numbers, look at stats. Today, someone in the game said, "Oh, Fred just got man of the match." This same person had just talked about, "Oh, look at Bruno's stats and blah 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 blah." The person was like, "Oh, Fred got man of the match because Fred scored the goal." And I said, "Hey, I'm a Fred fan, but I didn't think Fred was the man of the match." But I said, "Hey, we are in a stat-based world. Fred scored the goal, so he gets man of the match." So that shows you that stats is all great, but it doesn't tell you the full story. You know what I mean? And that's what we've gotten from Bruno in 2 years is basically yes, he's the team is built around him. He gets 90% of the ball, but loses it 70% of the time. And then he does one little flick, someone stumbles on it and scores a goal, and all of a sudden, we start calling him Cantona. So that's why I like that you guys have brought that up. And I've told all my friends, I've said, guys, this season is gonna show you. I've been pretty right about how Manchester United has been with Ole. I've been calling out Bruno for a while. Everyone's called
Yep,
me a hater. I think Bruno is the next person to get found out at
yep.
United. But other than that, guys, did you guys have any last things to say? But this has definitely been a great conversation.
No, it's been great, man. Thanks so much, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's good to know your feedback on everybody. We'll see how it develops. I mean, soon enough it's Christmas. I wish you both a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year, and then we can take it off. If we don't do a show before, we can do it in the New Year. But lots of interesting things.
Yeah,
Actually,
no.
yeah.
Uh, the
Sorry, go
only thing
ahead.
I want to say is Hala Madrid. And for those of you that don't watch La Liga, we'll see you in Champions League again, as always. That's it.
Actually, speaking of that, I wanted to add that I know you said you don't want Modric to be gone, but last year you guys got found out. I guess it was against Atalanta and against Chelsea.
Yep.
Modric is good, but I think when you start playing teams on the same level, their age. Modric, I think your midfield is aging. I saw that last season. It's
Josh,
aging. It's aging there. It's aging.
Josh.
Still
30
tons of
seconds.
quality.
30
Still
seconds.
tons of quality,
The
but it's
problem, the
aging,
problem
bro.
last
It's
year against
aging.
Atlanta and Chelsea was not Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro in the midfield. The problem was Mendy was being played just after he came back from injury. He wasn't 100%. Ramos was being played just after injury and then went and got surgery, which he's just now coming back from with PSG, right? Zidane was the problem last year in Champions League with Atlanta and Chelsea. He played the wrong. He should have been playing Valverde. We didn't have Carvajal. Carvajal was getting injured. That was the problem. So we didn't have anybody to help them. The midfield had to always help the defense, and the defense wasn't healthy. The whole
Yeah.
left side was dead. So you can't expect them to be running back and forth and helping the defense at their old age and going and helping the attack. It's not going to work. The problem with Zidane this season with Ancelotti, one thing we've seen, they know they are not finishing the game. Cruz and Modric both know they're not finishing games. And who comes in? Youth, Valverde and Camavinga, and they dominate. So yeah, sure, we get the thing with Modric and Cruz and Benzema. Madrid is doing smart things. 1 year extensions, 1 year extensions. Because contrary to everybody's belief that Madrid doesn't care about their legends and just gets rid of them like Casillas and all and Bale and stuff, that's not the case. If you respect the badge, we will respect you. Sign
Yeah.
1 year contracts. What was Ramos trying to do? Signing a 2 year, sign me at the same tens of million dollars? Are you crazy?
I
Look
get
at PSG.
request the chopper
We're
to show
laughing.
up
I'm
at his
laughing at
house.
PSG. I'm laughing all the way to the bank at PSG. Look at that. And so watch. And Modric took a pay cut.
Yeah.
Pay cuts. Benzema took a pay cut. Said I was only going to go a maximum to a 3-year extension. Cruz, pay cut. Retired from. This is what I'm
Josh
trying to
opened
say.
a can of worms, man.
I know I did. I know I
say.
did.
Last sentence. This is what I'm trying. This is
Why
all I'm
would
trying
you
to-
do that,
all-
Josh?
All I was trying to say is that I wasn't trying to say that Modric we need to keep him and re-sign him. I was just trying to say that we don't need Pogba because we have Fede, we have a young Casemiro who still has a good 4 or 5 years left, and we have Camavinga and Fede Valverde. We're trying to get rid of Isco, right? And we still have room in there to bring in a young Tchouaméni who is like Cruz to play the long ball, and actually is a better Cruz. Is like a Cruz 2.0. So all I'm trying to say is that we need to bridge the gap between generations. You can't do what Barcelona did, sorry, Yves, and let Xavi and Iniesta go, and you don't bring them in. If De Jong was there when Xavi was there, I guarantee you transition would have been smoother. That is the problem. That's what Real Madrid is trying not to have happen. That's happened to a lot of other teams. You want to make sure your transitions are smooth, so you're always competing. And I think Papa Perez, as much as I don't like this guy and the way he's treating football with the Super League, I like what he does with Real Madrid and making sure that we're always competing and we're always.
He's Papa Perez for a reason. I mean, he's a gem. I think it's Laporta was like that.
Yeah, he's like, you know what I mean. Out. He's one of those presidents that he likes football first before money.
Yeah.
Even though money is obviously you need money to win those trophies,
Perez has always been money over everything. It's money and pride.
But football though, he understands that. No, that's fine. There's no problem with that. Exactly. Because when you're coming from a Manchester United setup whereby it's money and that's all that matters, and then results is an afterthought. If the results show up, then okay, yeah, that was a good season. But you have a president in Real Madrid that is at Real Madrid that it's about, yes, money. At the end of the day, we all got to make money. Everyone's got to make money. You know what I mean? To run anything. But you still understand that
results. Yeah.
The more you win, the more money comes your way. And I think that's the one thing.
And perform. And that's why Hazard and Bale are
performing. Yeah, trophies.
And because for us, it's about results. You will hit the bench and we'll let your contract run out, or we're trying to sell you if you're in performing. Yeah. Modric, Cruz, and Casemiro had one bad season last year, guys. One bad season last year. That's but they're performing again this year. And even last year, the first half, they did very well. Zidane ran them to the ground. So again, Papa Perez, money, and then performances. And if you're not performing, he doesn't care. He's not going to force the coach to play you. You're going to get benched.
Yeah, like I said, money first, then players. I think he knows how to run. He knows how to run a business. Simple as that.
Yeah, but that's it, guys. Yeah, and honestly, the only thing that I was just kind of like, I've always told you this, Jeff. I'm not opening a can of worms. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this, and that's it. So the only reason I'll be talking about Pogba going to Real Madrid is, one, I think he just needs to move on. I think everything that's happened at United has happened. He needs to move on and just win something else. And two, I just want him to just shut these United fans up that just, they have their say of him. And I just feel like he's way better than he's been treated at United and in England. So that's just my say on that. But obviously I know the likelihood of him going to Real Madrid is very slim. But anyways, guys, it's definitely been fun. For those of you watching, I really appreciate it. Continue to like, subscribe, and share, and we will be back with more content like this. Once again, take care, guys.
Stay blessed.